This is the second video of the little gems. But in this first video, the guy goes, "Oh, I never thought about that." So that's what's going to be the name of this video. I never thought about that. You don't think about it because we just learnt to watch the tell, lie, vision. And it doesn't tell you all these things. I mean, on this video, there is a video from TikTok. So it's Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. So it's great that people do get these videos out of more information. You just don't find this on YouTube. It's different on YouTube now, isn't it? But anyway, these videos will go out on all my channels, but I just wanted to say that before we started. This little gem, well, a little bunch of gems. And it's because you probably haven't thought about it.
Did you know that a tree has to grow in two directions at the same time? It's growing down and it's growing up. And what's interesting, if you could see the part of the tree that's under the ground, it looks very similar to the part of the tree that's above the ground. The root system is very similar to the fruit system.
Crazy. I never thought about that.
The nature of a tree is that it is both gravitropic and phototropic. So gravitropic means it grows away from light and towards gravity. That's the root system. It's gravitropic in nature. So the seed goes in the ground, and then the tree starts growing down before it starts growing up. Now here's what's interesting. When the seed is under the ground, it's dark under the ground, it's damp, and it has resistance. The root system has resistance. It has to push through the dirt to go down further, right? Well, once it breaks through the earth growing up, there's no more resistance. And the part of the tree that's above the earth grows towards light and away from gravity. So the tree is growing in two directions at the same time. But if you're unwilling to go down, you cannot go up. That's just the nature of life. In nature, before anything can go up, it has to go down. What's really cool is all principles are microcosms of each other. So everything really just keeps proving everything else. Because truth is simple. It's lies that are complicated.
Okay, so they're in 0G, and watch the ball just fall out of his hand. He gets too caught up in lying about the hurricane.
Whole hurricane, and that's pretty neat to be able to see it. You can see the eye and how it's forming. But one of the things that's interesting about up here, when you see that whole hurricane, you're pretty amazed and you start taking pictures. When you see that whole hurricane, you're pretty amazed and you start taking pictures and all of that of it. But then you forget that there are people in danger down on Earth with the hurricanes and all that. So sometimes it's easy to lose perspective up here.
We're going to pretend like we didn't just see this? If you look at this and you say that he pushes the ball down, dude, you're suffering from like serious cognitive dissonance, bro. Like, be real here. This dude's in 0G. They're supposedly floating. The only reason they're able to stand there is their feet are underneath bars because they would be going up. If you don't know, they say they have these little bars for their feet on the ground, and that's what keeps them there. They'd float up. Okay, so this ball would float up if he's not holding it. They're in 0G, bro. You silly flat earther. They're free falling in a straight path that's actually curved at the same time, going 17,500 miles per hour, and there's no gravity, right? Okay, they're in 0G, and the ball falls down. How does that work? How does it work? What are you doing in your mind right now? Are you doing mental gymnastics? You're like, someone's got to give me an answer.
Everyone has a $1 bill in their pocket, but very few people have ever looked at the symbolism on the back of a $1 bill. On the left-hand side, you'll see the magic circle, and within that magic circle is the pyramid with the all-seeing eye separated from the body of the pyramid. And above the top of the pyramid, just above the eye, you have Annuit Coeptus, which is Latin. Our enterprise or our project has been crowned with success. Now, the enterprise itself is beneath the pyramid. Novus Ordo Seclorium. Novus is for new, Ordo is order, and Seclorium is for the secular. Secular is like your secular job, your secular education, which means worldly. Therefore, Novus Ordo Seclorium is new world order. Why is it pictured beneath an Egyptian pyramid? To the secret societies of the world, America is referred to as the New Egypt, and therefore our symbols are from Egypt.
The government actually can take your houses off you.
No, they can't. Let me show you how billionaires protect their assets so you can do the same. The goal is to make you broke on paper. So the car you drive, the house you live in, and the Rolex on your wrist isn't actually yours. First, set up a trust with you as the beneficiary. Then you put all your assets into your trust so your trust legally owns them. Since you're the beneficiary of the trust, you can still benefit from all the assets like they are your own. So if the government, for example, wants to take your house, they can't because it's not actually yours. The house is owned by your trust and you're just living in it.
The government actually can take...
The bank does not have to prove where it gets its money from. So if you apply the principle of reciprocity to that, the bank would be obliged under a reciprocity principle to say to you, oh, the money we're going to lend you for your mortgage, we're going to type into an account from nothing based upon the strength of your signature, which becomes a promissory note, that we then accept the value and deposit and create the credit. So in fact, customer, you provide the bank, you, as in a human, provides the bank the authority to create the credit that you then borrow. So if you really think about that process, who is the creditor and who is really the debtor? If you provide the authority for the bank to create the credit, the authority is really the creditor. The one that operates the process is really the debtor. And that's what I wanted to try and set out to prove in law, because that's the actual fact of the matter, and that's the truth.
But check these. Look at this. I mean, look at the detail. And a lot of these things like this one, for example, right here, if you can see that, that used to have mercury in it. And these were placed up on top of homes. And then you have all these beautiful, I mean, look at the detail of this. The most interesting thing when you get into this topic is that the first thing that's always removed from an old world building are the antennas. If you look at all of, let's take all the Capitol buildings, all the political buildings, what do they got on top? Some sort of antenna. What's the first thing that's always removed? The antenna. Certain spins, like we talk about with electroculture, different types of coils. And as somebody just said, like the sail of a ship, the energy of the wind is moving the vessel. Exactly. So if you're capturing energy with these antennas that are sticking out of your home, you would have free energy. You wouldn't have to pay for a thing. And we know the taller you go,